Hello there and welcome back to some more Forza Motorsport 7. Today we are going to be taking a look at the August 2019 update. We're going to be doing an overview of it, and I'm going to be telling you what's changed, and more importantly we're going to be taking a look at the Spotlight car. This is supposedly the final update for Forza Motorsport 7, at least the final substantial one. There'll probably be a couple of little weird updates here and there, as there usually is for these older games, but as far as substantial changes, updates, Spotlight cars, it's all gone, it's all done, and as such our final ever Spotlight car is going to be the 2019 Porsche number 4 Porsche Motorsport 718 Cayman GT4 Clubsport, 420 horsepower, 313 foot-pound torque, 2,910 pounds of weight, S-Class 742Pi, mid-engined rear-wheel drive. This is Porsche's GT4 car slash one-make race car. I'm not 100% sure quite what the Cayman GT4 Clubsport is. I believe it's supposed to be an amalgamation of both of those. Either way, it enters the Forza GT class, and it's probably going to be quite a nice car to drive. I'm a huge fan of the Porsche Cayman. Out of all of the modern Porsche models, if you said to me which one is your favourite, the Cayman is personally my favourite. It's probably the only Porsche I'd buy with actual money, in all honesty, and well, this is a racing version. I believe this is our only 718 chassis Cayman in the game, which is interesting, certainly. There's been a bit of controversy about this one, with it being the final car. A lot of people saying, oh well, it should have been this car, should have been that car, as there usually is when it comes to this stuff. Personally, I mean, it's free. I think when something is free, it removes a lot of the personal investment that you should have in it. You really shouldn't be entitled about free content. That being said, would it have been nice to see a certain other car in here, or this car, or that car? Sure, you know, I would prefer road cars to these race cars. I don't really use race cars all that often. But it's free content. They didn't have to give you it, so that's sort of where my stance on it is. But no, I like the Cayman. This GT4 version probably won't get much use out of it, but it'll probably be a really nice driving car. I might give it a quick spin around every now and again. One thing to note, I'm not a huge fan of this sort of faded livery on it. I'm not quite sure what they... I mean, they were obviously going for sort of a battle-scarred livery style with this one. Not a huge fan of it, I've got to be really honest, but, you know, obviously we've got a livery editor. I can imagine a giant track full of these with just a one-make race series or something dedicated to this car would actually be a hell of a lot of fun. Especially considering the power figures and all that aren't wild, but I can imagine the grip from it probably will be quite good. Forza GT is obviously a very controversial discipline in this game. A lot of the cars are kind of either overbuilt or underbuilt for this class, and this one is certainly underbuilt. As I think Forza GT is supposed to run in R class, like R830, and this is nowhere near that. So you probably have to break the car quite a bit to get it to run within that correct discipline, but you know, sort of the whole homologation thing's been a bit of a mess, and I guess it only seems fitting that the final car added to Forza 7 would also sort of be a bit of a weird homologation hell. Yes, R835. So I dread to think what the homologated version of this car is like. It's probably awful, but no, that is your final Spotlight car. Other than that, Forza Race Regulations are as finished as they are going to be for this game. They have introduced a new disqualification system, as well as a few more penalty systems. There's a couple of other nice little features as well. Instead of being able to just track the distance in between the car in front of you or behind you, you can now actually track it by seconds, which is nice. That's very interesting. That's sort of quite a help. There's also some new stuff in regards to spectators. You can see how long people's penalties are. I think it's 12 seconds total, and you'll be disqualified / kicked out of the lobby. Of course, as usual, private matches, you don't have to have it on. I'm not quite sure how they're going to roll it out to online lobbies. As I usually say when it comes to this, I do not race in online lobbies. It does not interest me playing racing games online at all. If you're into that, that's cool. Don't get me wrong, but for me personally, I can't really offer you much insight on it. I don't know how the Forza Race Regulations work, because I don't play online. I just don't... Something about racing games online does not appeal to me in the slightest, so yeah, there you go. Anyways, between that and the new car, there really isn't a whole lot changed. And that is the end of Forza Motorsport 7's updates. It's been certainly a ride with this game. Of course, when it was launched in 2017, you had a lot of people who really did not take to Forza Motorsport 7. I was never one of them. I've always very much liked this game. You can hear it in my first impression video. I really like Forza Motorsport 7. I still stand by the fact that this is the best iteration of Forza we've had, just in terms of, you know, all out. The car list is probably the best it's ever been. Handling is certainly the best it's ever been. Content is actually now broader than Forza Motorsport 4, I think. We've got more tracks and obviously rain and night time and all the rest of it. That's, yeah, you know, this has, I personally believe Forza does get better with every iteration. I know that's a rather controversial opinion, and I always thought 7 was the best. There were a couple of little issues I had, stuff like homologation, some of the leveling up system, some performance issues, but in general, the performance issues sort of been fixed. Homologation never really did, but not many people really played the career mode. Also, the locked car issue, I remember that. That all thankfully got sorted. And this game has really grown into one that people really seem to appreciate now. A lot of the sort of rhetoric that Forza Motorsport 7 got has actually been cleared up now. This seems to be quite a fan-enjoyed game. A lot of people liking the fact that Turn 10 is owning up to the mistakes that they made with this game and would look to improve it. And I mean, at the end of the day, proof's in the pudding. This game's had almost 2 years of support, which for a Forza title is insane. In the previous, I mean, you'd get like, what, up to about the 9-month mark, and then everything would be dropped. So yeah, they've done a really good job of turning this game around in the public sphere. As I said, they never really had much to do with me in terms of improving it. I've always liked the game. A lot of the updates have focused on the online portion of the game, which obviously did get maligned. But that all seems, I mean, I don't really know what people think of the online much, because again, I don't really hang around the people that do public lobbies and so on and so forth. But yeah, as far as I can tell, everyone seems to see this game in a much higher light. And then obviously you've still got the people who will sit there and complain and go, "Oh, I remember back in my day, Forza Motorsport 4 is the greatest game ever." Yeah, just, you're never going to please those people. Literally nothing in this entire world will please people like that. And of course, you have the free content as well, which has also helped keep the game pretty alive and healthy. I've of course done a previous look back on the Car Pass in one of the Car Pass videos, at least I think. If I didn't, then oops. But I mean, look through the free content. I mean, we've had, what, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15... 22. You know, we've had a good amount of free content here, and a lot of it's really good stuff. I mean, the 2019 GT3 RS is a car I really like. Obviously, the 2018 Civic was a car I gawped over. That was our first free car, and yeah, it's sort of gone very well ever since. The Skyline's cool. I never really got a chance to drive that one, but I do quite like it. Obviously, the Hot Wheels pack made its return. The M8, quite a fan favourite car, as was the R3 LMS. I personally really like the GTC4 Lusso and the Senna. I kind of thought they was heading more towards adding cars from Forza Horizon 4 into this game. I really would have liked to see more of that. I would have been quite happy to pay for it, in all honesty, but you know, it's sort of the way these games go. They can't just keep adding stuff from the newer games into the older games, as much as I would prefer them to, especially considering this is very likely going to be the final motorsport title for the Xbox One. But yeah, a little bit of a ramble there, but please let me know what you think of Forza Motorsport 7 in its current state. Do you think the game has improved, or are you one of those people that I just made fun of, who seem to think Forza Motorsport 4 was the greatest thing ever and nothing will ever beat that game, even though it kind of has been surpassed, at least if you ask me. I'm quite happy to provide reasons for that. But yeah, no. And that is Forza Motorsport 7's final update. While this will not be the final video on my end when it comes to this game, of course, ETCC is still a thing. And obviously, I kind of want to do a few other bits with Forza 7. Of course, Forza Top Gear Laps is still a thing as well. But no, as far as updating you on Spotlight cars and stuff, unless they pull something last minute, which, judging by the life cycle of this game, anything can happen. Yeah, that is it for Forza Motorsport 7. Also, it looks completely different now thanks to these new menus, loading screens, so on and so forth. They did a really good job of revitalising the game, sort of always making it feel fresh in the way that it looked and so on. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, farewell.